This is going to be the ultimate cleaning, decluttering, organizing, and even decorating video. I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody that sent me the birthday wishes for this week. And with it being my birthday week, I did take a little bit of a break. So you guys are going to get to enjoy this cleaning, decluttering, organizing, and decorating marathon. Some of my best videos all compiled into one nice and long video. That way you can still get all your cleaning motivation before the weekend comes. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you guys have any questions or anything, make sure to drop me a comment. But otherwise, enjoy today's video, and I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend.
Here I am on the run now, been there for way too long. I'm off to chase the sun now, for you know I'll be gone. You were the better actor, but then you looked away. I headed for the back door, no longer parted in your play, and all the king's horses, and all the king's men, they will try to find me, but they never will. They wander and wander, I hear every stand of all the king's horses and all the king's men. I got the stars above me, I'm safe here in my nest. The last thing that you hear of me, and I learn from the best. I hear the lonely shadows call out my name tonight. You tried to aim your arrow, and so I left without a fight, without a fight. And all the king's horses and all the king's men, they will try to find me, but they never will. They wander and wander, and another time I hear them step me. We could be lovers, we could be friends, but I still believe this time becomes something. We pave the way on the other side.
I feel like motivation is one of those things that it very much varies from person to person. What motivates me may not motivate you, but I do like sharing what gets me up and going. I have learned my biggest struggle, and you may struggle with this also, is just getting started. Like, if I sit down, the hardest part is just standing up. Once I get going, I'm usually pretty good on a project, especially if I'm picking a project that gives me instant gratification, like doing something like painting the baseboards. I'm instantly seeing the progress and it looking nicer, and that'll motivate me. But on some days, I have to set timers because even that doesn't keep me motivated. So on this day, I was just focusing on projects. My kitchen is another area that I need to do daily. It needs to be done multiple times a day, realistically, because there's just always stuff everywhere that needs to get done. Dishes that need to get done between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's just always a hot mess. But the big thing on this day was my refrigerator. I have been wanting to get into my refrigerator. I had a boatload of leftovers, which I am still working through my leftovers. We had family dinner, and I swear, our Sunday family dinners, we always make way too much food, and there's always an abundance of leftovers. So we have been working through that. But with that, I noticed, okay, the refrigerator is just getting overboard. I have, over the past about year or so, really been working on not overloading our refrigerator. I used to be the type of person that like your refrigerator had to look stocked and full, but I was finding that stuff was going bad so much more that I didn't want to have it completely stocked all the time. So I have been trying more and more of not overstocking the refrigerator, doing like 1 or 2 fruits at a time that the kids are really enjoying, 1 or 2 fresh vegetables at a time that the kids are really enjoying, and that has been helping a ton. We're actually going through our fresh produce better without things going bad. My kids especially are the type that they'll be like in the mood for bananas, and they'll go through 2 bunches of bananas a day for like 2 weeks straight. Same with apples or strawberries or any of them. But once they are not in the mood, they won't eat it, like at all. So I don't like keeping a lot of things because they are definitely the type that they get like fixated on one thing at a time. So it has made a huge difference. And then these windows are also bugging me. So these windows are the ones in our dog room. And during most of the day, they look really, really clean. But come like later in the day as the sun is setting and it's shining perfectly through these windows, you can see all the dust and buildup and everything. And it has been driving me crazy, but you guys know me. I am not a like nighttime cleaner. And that later in the afternoon is usually when my motivation to get stuff done has dwindled. Like I may still do little stuff around the house, but things like cleaning these windows, stuff like that, like I'll see them and be like, oh, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And I have been saying I'll deal with it tomorrow for a good like month now. Honest truth. I see it. I'm like, oh, I really need to do that. I'll do it tomorrow. And it just keeps getting pushed off and pushed off. And that is why I really needed this day of just like, okay, here's my list. Here's the things that need to get done. I'm not going to overwork by making sure everything is perfect, because I can be that type where I'm like, okay, I have to do it top to bottom. Got to follow the rules. Are you a rule follower? Because if you are probably like me. And that is often why I push things off, because I'm like, I want to work in the room top to bottom. That way everything makes sense. But then by the time I get to what I actually want to get done, I'm exhausted or I don't get anything else done on the day. So today was not about a perfection day. Today was just about tackling that to-do list, not overworking myself, and giving myself grace that, all right, I didn't dust off the ledge by the window and the plants over there, which definitely needed to get dusted off and everything, but I got the window done. And that right there is a huge accomplishment. So it's funny, we took Bailey's cage out of our shed when we had our house listed for sale, but as a lot of you guys know, if you're new here, you may know, we had our house listed for sale. It did not end up selling, and the house we wanted did end up selling, and with the holidays coming off, we took it off the market because we really have no need to sell. We just found a house we really liked, and we're like, well, if we can make this work, if it's meant to be, it'll be. If not, not. And with the holidays, we took it off the market. But we bought this kennel inside because Bailey, he's a big boy, and he's 6 years old, which for a St. Bernard is getting up there in age. So when we had showings, he would be in his kennel. But usually we just kept his kennel in the shed out back. But he has been loving that thing so much that is why the kennel is still in the house. Is we just leave it open at all times, and he'll just go in there randomly throughout the day for his own like safe space, quiet space. So it is still out here, and I don't know if we're going to end up putting it away because he's really just been enjoying having it in the house, which I find funny because you never know with dogs. Like, some dogs absolutely love their kennels and some dogs not so much. He definitely has. Oh, but talking about kids that like go through phases, currently my kids' phase is cookies. They have been going through cookies like none other. So I, in the past week, have made a batch of snickerdoodles. Those lasted about 3 days. And just the other day, I made chocolate chip cookies. Those, I think we currently have 4 of them left. And I made that about 3 days ago. Yeah, that is their current obsession, is all the cookies. But it doesn't bother me too much. I do enjoy baking and doing stuff like that, but I was teasing them. I'm like, holy cow, I make about, I don't even know how many dozen gets made. It's at least 2, if not 3 dozen per batch of cookies that I make. And, oh, and on top of that, I say kids, Bobby also has a major sweet tooth. So he also is wrapped in with when I say children because he's definitely been munching on the cookies as well. But cookies have been on their like must-have treats in the house lately. So I feel like they're just preparing me for the holiday baking that is soon to erupt in our house. I'm actually currently been like making mental notes of the holiday baking I want to do. This year we have Christmas for our holiday. We rotate holidays every single year. So last year we did Thanksgiving. And the year before that, we did New Year's. So this year, we have Christmas. And my aunt and my mom have the 2 other holidays. So I need to start thinking about Christmas cookies as well as what we're going to be doing for Christmas dinner. I also have to look at the calendar because I don't know what day Christmas lands on. We normally celebrate the holiday on whatever Sunday is by the holiday. Or on the holiday. It really just depends. I know when it comes to Christmas, I always request that we don't go to other people's houses on Christmas, but since we're hosting this year, we may do it on Christmas Day. And we only request that because with having small kids, we're the only ones with small kids. My aunt and uncle are in their 60s and 70s. My parents are in their 60s. So they don't have small children. And I really like being able to just let the kids enjoy their holiday at home, get to open their gifts, enjoy their gifts, everything like that. But yeah, all the things that are running through my brain, I think that's partially why I've been absolutely exhausted lately, is even though like we have some time before Christmas, this time of year is just so hectic with all of the holidays of Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and right before that we just had all of the kids' birthdays and everything. So it just feels like so much that I feel like my brain is just on overboard. And actually even today was just like, I have not done much in the house today. I need to get stuff done, but honestly I'm probably going to push it to tomorrow. I left this morning at 7:15 to take Bjorn and Freya to school. And I ended up not getting home till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon because I had to go to the dealership to get my oil changed. Found out that I also had a recall on my car, so that ended up taking longer. I had to go to the doctor's office, run some other errands, and literally I got home and I'm like, okay, was planning on doing much more today, but that might get pushed to tomorrow. Yeah. I think this mama needs a break. I think I need to go on a weekend girls trip for myself. But at the same time, I know I say that, and let me know if you can relate. I say this all the time, but I would never do well going to a hotel for a weekend by myself or on a girls trip because I would constantly be wondering about what's going on at home. Or I would do the whole well, this would be more fun if Bobby was here, or this would be more fun if I had the kids. It always sounds better in my mind than when I actually do stuff like that, and then I miss the kids and my family and stuff like that. So I say it, but it probably will never happen. I do take self-care, though, very, very important. I definitely think you should take self-care really important also. And when it comes to like getting quiet time in the hot tub, like the kids have their bedtimes, and it isn't so much that I feel like they have to be in bed at a certain time. The boys, they're pretty good at making sure they're in bed at a certain time. Actually, this year we've been experimenting with Xander. Xander is our 13-year-old, and we have like a time that we want them in their rooms, quieting down and everything. But Xander's a very responsible 13-year-old. He is in the gifted program at his school, getting straight A's. And I told Bobby, I'm like, we really need to give him some freedom. And I feel like it's the hardest with your oldest to start letting go and giving him those freedoms. And Bobby has been struggling also. He's like, well, I still think that he needs to be bed at a certain time. I'm like, yes, but if he is doing well in school, he gets himself up in the morning, ready, bikes himself to school. I'm like, he's getting up on time and getting to school. He's still getting straight A's. Like, there really is no reason that we have to overly enforce a bedtime for him. So we have been like experimenting with that. I have not been on his case about getting to bed for the most part. The other day I did go and get a glass of water, and it was like midnight and he was still on his computer. I was like, hey bro, it's midnight. We really should start winding down. But I'm trying to pull back. I would love advice from any of you that have older kids, because this is definitely a new adventure for us, the teenage years. But I don't want to be a like overbearing helicopter parent, but obviously you don't want to like not overbear enough. I would love all the tips and tricks. Like I said, he is a great kid. He is very respectful, very mature for his age. He's in all advanced classes at school and still getting straight A's. So behavioral wise, he has zero issues, and I want to definitely give him that independence. I also think it's really important to give kids that independence. I want him to be a successful adult and be confident in who he is, and I think a lot of that independence creates confidence in our children. So any advice from you guys, I will definitely take it. Also, I know many of you with kids and pets can relate to the under the couch messes that always are. So I knew I needed to get in here and give this a good vacuum, because between dog hair and crumbs, it was everywhere. It was a little bit difficult doing this because Athena was climbing on me while I was doing it. That's just mom life here. She's constantly climbing on me. But I love every couple of months getting in here and actually using the steam cleaner on the sofas, because it gets it so clean. Especially the right seat on that love seat couch. Bailey every morning will go and sit specifically on that seat, and he sits like a human being. Like, he doesn't curl up in a ball on the couch like most dogs. Like, he literally goes over there and plops his butt down and will have all four of his paws on the floor but sitting on the couch. It's silly looking, but he's so big that he can do that. So that seat gets a little extra dirty from him just like scratching over there or cleaning himself or whatever. And this steam cleaner I'm always actually shocked at what my couches look like for real once they've been cleaned, because they slowly get dirty over time and you don't even realize how dirty they actually are till you give a good thorough cleaning. I will say, though, if today is one of those days where you're just not motivated to clean, I would highly recommend, if you're like, I need to get something done, but I don't really, what's one thing that'll make a huge difference in getting stuff clean? I'm going to challenge you to just declutter, and that can be just going around and picking up trash, getting rid of obvious donation stuff, but decluttering is the one thing you can do that if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't know where to start with cleaning, start decluttering, because over time, that is what made the biggest difference. I got married at a very young age. I was 19 years old when I got married. We had Xander, our first son, when I was 21, and I have not always been this organized and figured out when it came to cleaning. It definitely took me a long time, and when I worked outside of the house, I feel like that's where things really switched, because when I worked outside the house, I would spend those videos that say Sunday resets. I would do that. And it seemed a lot easier back then because the house would be cleaned. I would go to work. Bobby would go to work. Xander was at my in-laws' house for the most part. We also had a in-home daycare that we took him to, but no one was home to make a mess. So back in 2018, when Bobby got deployed, I had to quit my job because we couldn't afford, childcare based off of what I was making just did not make sense. And I became a stay-at-home mom. I was trying to figure out this whole stay-at-home mom life, how to actually maintain a clean house, because the house was always constantly getting messy and dirty, and I felt like I was doing the same things over and over again. But once I started decluttering, massive difference, because I didn't have as much to maintain, so it made the actual cleaning process so much easier. And there's always going to be certain things, at least in my life. I am not a minimalist by any means, and I don't believe I ever will be a minimalist, but by minimalizing what I have, it makes life so much easier. There's certain things that we're always going to have a lot of. Obviously, I like decor. So my house is going to be decorated and stuff. My kids have toys, especially the girls. The girls are at the age of toys. Their room is constantly a mess. And oh my goodness, Athena, my 1-year-old, is definitely my messiest child I have ever had. She is the child. Actually, Bobby was just telling me today how I was gone, and we have to keep a closer eye on Athena because she has now figured out how to open cabinets and likes pulling things out of cabinets. I have never had a child do that before. She is the first. So we're going to have to start keeping a closer eye on all of those things. But there's certain things that just going to get messy all the time. The girls' room, I could clean this room probably 5 times a day, because anytime Athena is in here, and the girls love playing in their room, even Athena, we always have their door open, and she will just wander the house. She'll play in the family room for a little bit, and then she'll crawl into her room, watch Mickey, and play in her room. But her idea of playing is, let's pull everything out and throw it all over the floor. So it's constantly a mess. So when I started staying home, and I was used to, okay, I clean, it pretty much stays clean because no one was home to make a mess, except for we came home, we made dinner, we went to bed, it was fairly simple. It took me time to really figure out a routine, really figure out what made it easier to maintain, because I don't want to clean all day, every day. I enjoy spending time with my kids and husband, and I just wouldn't be able to do that as much if I was cleaning all the time. So figuring out those routines was so important, and it's why I always push to you guys, and you guys are probably sick of hearing it, and it's getting obnoxious, but declutter. Just get rid of the stuff you don't need, you don't want, downsize, and it may take you a while. It took me years to really figure out, what do I need? What do I don't need? What do I love and I'm going to keep just because I love it? And what is stuff that's just kind of here to be here and isn't really necessary? But as I've gotten rid of this stuff, it just makes life so much easier. I come in the kids' bathroom. I love my decor, but otherwise everything is kept in the drawers, organized, and we teach the kids that You use it, you put it away. We don't keep things stacked on counters, and it just makes the actual cleaning process so much easier.
Do you remember when we couldn't get enough of it all? We kept it going for so long, so long. I don't know where I would be if we let it go. 'Cause every time we try to break it down and build again, yeah, every time we try to make up for something lost, you know.
Another big thing about getting motivated and staying motivated for me is keeping my mind off of what I am doing. And I do this a couple ways. Sometimes it's just by having something on the TV in the background. So if it's YouTube watching another creator, I love doing stuff like that, especially when I'm not feeling motivated. If I can turn on one of the girls that I love to watch one of their videos, and then I just let it play and I get up and do stuff, that always motivates me. The other thing is listening to music. I will often either turn on 90s country. I am definitely a 90s country girl. Or lately I have been loving turning on Josiah Queen. Love his music. And it always just gives me like a boost of energy to get going. Or some sort of podcast. Put an earbud in my ear. Listen to a podcast or an Audible or something like that. Something that gets my brain thinking about something other than what my body is doing. And I feel like the biggest thing is it just helps the time fly. And because none of these tasks ever take that long, it's like, especially if it's a video thing, if it's a video that's on the TV or an audiobook that's in my ear, and I can be like, okay, once this is over, I can be done. I'm always surprised at how much, though, I can actually get done in such a short amount of time. And not doing it all at once. Now, I will say you have to figure out the type of person you are, because I have friends that I've talked to about this, and I have some friends that are like, yeah, I'll do like 5 minutes, sit down and take a 30-minute break, and then get up and do another 5 to 10 minutes here. And that's how I am. I'm the type that I get this done throughout the day. It's usually anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes at a time. And then I will like reward myself by being able to watch one episode of Once Upon a Time or something else. Usually I try and pick something that's less than an hour long episode wise, but I like to be able to like reward myself with little wins, because I think it's important to reward yourself with those little wins in whatever way you find is helpful. But I also have friends that are like, oh no, if I sit down, you are not getting me back up. And that's when I think it's important to like set those timers. Give yourself 1 hour, 30 minutes, and bust it out. Like literally just bust it out. Oh, also, I was so mad at this point. I was just trying to tidy up all the kids' rooms so I could send the robot vacuum into all of these rooms while they were out and about. And I'm pretty sure Minnie peed in Xander's Crocs that were under his bed. She has never done this before. And actually, I don't think she's ever even had an accident in his room before. I think she was mad that he, the day before, had his fall concert. So he wasn't home for long. And then this day he was at school again. And she definitely is the type that like will get feisty if she gets angry. And I think she did it to punish him. But I didn't realize, so I picked up the Crocs with the plan of just like throwing them in his closet so that the robot vacuum didn't have anything on the floor. Oh, and the pee just went everywhere. I was so angry. I'm like, are you kidding me? Some not so kid-friendly language came out of my mouth because yeah, it was gross. So needless to say, his room got a little bit more of a cleaning. I made sure to get in here and give a thorough shampooing of his rug and getting all that cleaned up. But yeah, I was not very happy. I laughed afterwards, and when Xander got home from school, I definitely let him know because I'm like, guess what your dog did? We always say Minnie is his dog or my dog because Bailey will choose to be around Bobby if he has to choose, like if I go to bed and Bobby is still watching the football game or something out in the family room, Bailey will be in the family room with Bobby. However, Minnie will either be in the room with me or in Xander's room. When it comes to Xander and I think we are about equal on the love scale of her, but she will definitely choose Xander or I every single day. So yeah, I definitely let him. I'm like, just so you know, your dog peed in your Crocs. And I ended up, because he got home and he like had a weird look on his face, and I had forgotten that I had moved his bed to do that shampooing. I'm like, oh yeah, I had to move your bed so I could shampoo your rug because your dog peed in your Crocs. That's just real life here though. Like, sometimes you clean up dog pee. That is just the way it is. Luckily, our dogs don't usually do that. That is definitely not a normal occurrence in our house, but it is an occurrence. And I feel like as a mom in general, there are certain things that just don't bother you the same way as they might have in the past. And things like that, I just have learned to live with. I have had so many things happen to me over the years of being a pet mom and human mom that our tolerance just, I think, is outmatched when it comes to anyone else. And if you have kids, you understand. Like, the things I have gone through and seen, there's not much that'll surprise me nowadays.
We're never letting go. This time we can reach the sky. On a prayer we go higher than high. Yeah, wide awake, it's a big mistake, 'cause it's something we can deny. With a love like this, we'll never fall. All of a sudden you'll be standing there with someone new, 'cause it's been going so wrong for so long. Let's keep this dream alive, the art of letting go. 'Cause every time we try to
I will say though, if I am ever feeling like really don't want to do anything that day, as long as my bedroom is tidied up and I don't have to do everything. Literally, if I make my bed and send the robot vacuum in there and then just making sure the bathroom is tidied up and the kitchen, that to me makes the biggest difference in the world. If I don't touch the dining room, touch the kids' rooms, touch the family room, but I have tidied up our bedroom and tidied up the kitchen, those are the two rooms that make the biggest impact when it comes to like my mental health and feeling calm. And I think it's really important for you to figure out what those spaces are in your house. I know there are some people that could care less about their bedroom. They're like, yeah, I don't need to make my bed every day. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. But I do think you should figure out what those areas that make the biggest impact for you and your mental health. Like, okay, the rest of the house could be a disaster, but as long as the kitchen is clean, I feel at peace. As long as the family room's clean, I feel at peace. And for each one of us, it's going to be different areas. Like I said, for me, it's my bedroom and the kitchen. As long as they are tidied up, that puts me at peace and makes my life feel so much better. So even on the days when I am like feeling the least amount of motivation, I try and push through to at least get those two areas done in my house, because otherwise the next day I notice I am still not motivated to get anything done. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
If you wanna see some crazy and also lazy, then you should meet me and my friends. Even though we got no money, we sure as hell funny. Yeah, everything's better with them. We're just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. We don't work.
All right, today we are tackling our to-do list. I know I mentioned a couple of videos back, or maybe my last video, that one of the things on my to-do list was deep cleaning, decluttering, and organizing my kitchen, especially before the holidays. This is so important. It makes holiday season so much easier. So I'm just starting by doing a like general tidy of the kitchen. I wanted to make sure like all the dishes were cleaned and everything. That way, as I started going through cabinets and drawers, I can truly visually see everything I have. Plus, I just like starting in a clean slate because it feels so much less overwhelming. Projects like this can already mentally be very overwhelming. Like, I don't know about you, but I always make things seem so much harder than they actually are in real life. So this is one way I have just learned to trick my brain to make it less stressful and a lot more manageable. The other thing is, I know I have to take things in steps. I have a million and one things to do during the day, between running the kids to and from school and meals, and obviously having a 1-year-old that, by the way, if you haven't seen our family vlog, she has just started walking, and oh my goodness, this is my favorite time. It's the cutest thing in the world. She's like that drunk sailor wobbling around. Absolutely adorable. But needless to say, when they start walking, it gets also to be a little bit more complicated during the day.
We don't wanna be like you. Don't wanna be like you. Don't wanna act like you. Don't wanna be like you. Don't wanna act like you. I know that I'm just wasting time, but I don't wanna let it go. I don't wanna let it go. And I know that I might not be fine, but I will never let it go. No, I will never let
Now, I am someone that I don't have hours and hours that I can strictly dedicate to cleaning when I am home. It's different when I go and do my Helping Hand series because I don't have littles with me at that time. But when I am home, it is more complicated. I'm sure you noticed when I was cleaning the dishes that Athena was getting into the bathroom, so I had to like step away and get her out of the cabinets. That's her new favorite thing to do, is take out all the towels from under the bathroom cabinets. So I take it step by step. I am someone, and I've said this before, Marie Kondo, great. She is a motivator for sure, but I have tried her method and I can't do it. Part of it is it stresses me out, but the other part is I just can't dedicate that much time to pull everything out, go through everything in one sitting. I can tell you right now, this kitchen project is going to be a 2-parter. There is no way I can get the entire kitchen deep cleaned, decluttered, and organized in just one day. So break it down little by little. Like I said, starting off by just giving it a clean slate. But then you're going to see here in a little bit that I'm going to be moving into the pantry. And I didn't have like a set goal of how much I wanted to get done this day. I just knew I was going to take it one area at a time, one cabinet at a time, and one drawer at a time. So that way, when I needed to stop, I could stop and the kitchen didn't feel overwhelming or stressful. And I know I can pick it up the next day and keep on with that progress.
long time gone, turning heads left, right. So damn done, taking this back bite. No, you can't cover this up, you're already stuck. Oh, before long, you're gonna get so tired, you gotta get out.
I also like to sprinkle in tasks that I love doing. Did I need to scrub out this sink? No, it probably could have waited, but I enjoy cleaning my sink. There is something so satisfying by just the suds and bubbles and how good it looks when it's done that sprinkling in some of those chores that you really enjoy doing is a great help. Another big motivation is turning on something you love. Now in the kitchen, I don't have sight to the TV, so I don't usually have the TV on. Lately, my obsession is turning on Pandora, and I have a Josiah Queen radio station, so it plays any type of Christian music that's kind of like Josiah Queen, which I love. It's upbeat, it's motivational, it gets me like really ready to get stuff done. But anything that kind of motivates you, if you want to grab a tablet and turn on a YouTube video or an audiobook, I feel like anything that can kind of get you mentally out of realizing what you're doing is something that motivates you to keep on going. It also helps the time pass, and you will be surprised how much you can get done doing 15, 20, 30 minutes here and there. Especially since I feel like often, even with my videos, I was just talking to my friends the other day, Jessie, Lynn, and Jamie, and saying how in these 30 minutes, like, I wish I could get this much done in 30 minutes, but these are things that literally take all day. And it's one thing that you do miss on the YouTube videos because often it is edited out. The obviously going and taking care of the baby, maybe sitting on the couch for a little while, running here and there everywhere. And this is definitely not one of those situations. Like, stuff gets done in 15, 30-minute increments, and then usually I have to do something else and come back, which is why I like doing it this way so much more than let's pull everything out. And in some ways, especially when it comes to motivation in a video, it can be super motivating to see those people that do the pull everything out, go through everything all at once. But I also want to be very real with you guys and kind of walk you through the process that is less overwhelming, because for a lot of us, it isn't the fact that cleaning is difficult, but it's the fact that when you add cleaning onto your 1,000,001 tasks, it can feel really overwhelming. Being a housewife, a stay-at-home mom, all of these things, in one thing at a time isn't ever difficult. Taking the kids to and from school, not a hard task. Making dinner, not a hard task. Tidying up the house, not a hard task. It's the everything on top of it. So it's the taking the kids to school and cleaning the house and this and that and setting up doctor's appointments and. It's those ands that can be so overwhelming. So I like to show my process of taking away some of that stress and anxiety that can feel so overwhelming with keeping up with stuff. I also always tell you guys, do it more often. The things you hate doing because it seems like it takes forever and is super overwhelming, and we push off, and those are things we do once a year, you are actually making it so much harder on yourself. By doing it instead of once a year, maybe 4 times a year, it makes it less stressful, less overwhelming, because there's not as much stuff to go through in the long run.
On a Saturday night, I should have gone to bed, but I'm feeling alright. I'm thinking about us, girl, and I hate that we fight, regretting what's been said and done. I guess I really need to tell you how I'm feeling inside. Even if I try, can't get you out of my mind. Suddenly it's obvious that you're the one. Listen what I say, are you ready or not? Time to step it up, give it all you got. I'll be on my way, waiting outside your door.
All right, moving on to this bottom shelf is where I got really, really sad. This bottom shelf is where we keep all the kids' snacks. It's easy for them to reach. So we have popcorn down there, granola bars. It changes, honestly, week to week. But behind that is where I've kept all my water glassed eggs. This is the first year I tried water glassing eggs. And I've learned the importance to really make sure there are no cracks in any of the eggs, because a lot of these jars were bad. I had so many eggs that I had to toss. I literally almost was in tears when I told Bobby, I'm like, I did everything. So next year, when my girls are laying again, I am going to candle my eggs to make sure there's no hair-lined cracks in them, because it only takes one bad egg to destroy the bunch. Out of all of these jars, I only had 3 jars that were still good. The rest I had to dump out, and yeah, I was so sad. Now, did it cost me anything? Not really. A little bit of the pickling lime obviously was lost, but those were eggs that were supposed to get us through the entire winter when our girls weren't laying. And now with the holidays especially coming up, I'm probably going to have to end up buying eggs this winter. I do know though, this is a learning experience. Everyone's got to learn. But yeah, that had me very, very sad when I pulled those out and noticed over half of my eggs, probably about 2/3 of my eggs were bad, and I had to toss them.
You are all I want and more. A girl I know. We're better than the rest together. So much more. It ain't better to be alone. Let me show you what it's like. Just step into my life. Don't you fight this feeling if it's right. Just hold on and never let go. We're better together.
Now, when it comes to cleaning even my pantry, you can see that I did take everything out to start because I wanted to, like I said, we are deep cleaning. And even if the shelf wasn't that bad, like this one was pretty much just my microwave that I keep in there, I wanted to get in there, vacuum it out really good. I'm just using my pine salt to clean it all out. This is a time that makes it a lot easier, but I am also trying to do the easiest shelves first. So the top shelf, pretty simple. The next shelf, actually, it's this fourth shelf that is the most difficult because that's where I keep like my pantry staples and extras and things like that. So pasta and rice and chips and extra flour and sugar and the random stuff like that. So after I had everything cleaned, I did the easy shelves and then I did this bottom shelf, and then I went in and organized and decluttered that other shelf because that is the shelf I knew that if things had been expired, it's going to be on that shelf. If things are just stuff we don't like, it's going to be on that shelf. So I wanted to do this last. That way the whole counter situation was less stressful because most of it was put back away. So I'm purely just dealing with the stuff from this one shelf.
This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. I got tons of soul on my true collectible. Famous, also famous, number one desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one and yeah, that's how I roll. I got change to throw, I don't care about no gold. Better, so much better, flipping incredible. Always on the show so they know that I still got it. And I never feel sorry, yeah.
The other thing I was doing when I was going through like anything that had to do with like spices or food or anything on this day is every time I saw something that had to be replenished, I put it in my Walmart app. I love using Walmart for Walmart deliveries. It makes my life so much easier. One, instead of constantly like having a grocery list, I literally just put it in my cart and it's like a natural grocery list. And then I can have it delivered once I hit a certain amount and I feel like, okay, now's a good time. I've also found that it has actually like saved me money in the long run because I'm not like wandering the store when I'm hungry and picking up all the random stuff. Now, not a crazy huge difference in this pantry you can see, but so much better. Like I said, I saw exactly what I needed to replace, so that was all going into my Walmart order for the next day. Now, this cabinet is my dishes / baked goods type cabinet. This is the stuff I grab for on the regular. So the very top shelf, this basket is all baking stuff. So like if I am making cupcakes or cookies or whatever, it is in this basket. And I love baskets. I am short, so these top cabinets, even with a step stool, can be difficult to get at. So I use the basket so that if I'm baking something, I just need to grab the basket and everything comes down with it. And I then also keep any extras on top. So extra flour, extra sugar, extra like chocolate chips or stuff. Anything that I don't grab for on the regular goes on that very top shelf. The middle shelf is going to be my staples. So vegetable oil, olive oil, rice, flour, literally anything that's like that. And then the bottom shelf is dishes. That way I'm just not moving around all the time when I am cooking. Pretty much everything I need is either in this cabinet or the one to the left of the stove, which has all of my spices. But let me know, when is the last time you actually like took everything out, gave it a good vacuum, a good wipe down? I definitely haven't done this in probably about a year. I like to go in and reorganize stuff, but actually taking it out and wiping it all down does not happen probably as often as it should. So this felt really good to get it all done. I was also telling Bobby, how do these cabinets get so dirty? Like, I get this one because it does have the oils, the cooking vinegars, stuff like that. But like, when there's just clean dishes in it, why and how does it get so dirty?
Let's say I let you call me baby. Let's say I let you hold my hand. Let's say I let you stay for coffee in the morning, 'cause you spent the night right next to me. Let's say I let you buy me dinner. Let's say I let you meet my friends. Let's say I let you have my number. Well, I guess this time I didn't stand a chance.
This bottom shelf was giving me a hard time though, because I wasn't sure exactly like how I wanted it laid out. I still don't know if I love the way it's laid out, but I was just moving around like, okay, how am I gonna do this? How do I make it work? It was difficult. Honestly, those small plates we don't use regularly. I could probably put them in a completely different cabinet, but because it's a set, I'm like, I feel like they should all be together. So I ended up going by height, tallest thing to shortest thing, and I feel like that looks the best. Let me know in the cabinets, or in the comments, not in the cabinets. See, I'm talking about cabinets and I'm going blank. In the comments below, let me know if you would organize it differently or if you have any recommendations. I felt like that looked the best for what I was doing. But next one is my spice cabinet. This one isn't horrible. Once again, like the other cabinet, I use baskets because if you have a small cabinet like this, there's not many organizers that you can fit in here well. And when I am cooking, I am using a lot of spices. So to have to get a step stool and move the spices around to find the one spice I need just isn't realistic. So I like being able to grab a basket and have all of my spices, and then I put them back in the cabinet and it looks neat and tidy. Highly recommend, if you have this skinny cabinet like this and you're trying to figure out what to do with your spices, get yourself some baskets. Makes such a huge difference. So my main thing was taking it all out, cleaning out it, and then going through, seeing what spices I was running low on, what spices have expired or just aren't good anymore, and then putting it all back in there. I do try and keep it somewhat organized. So you'll see like my bigger bulk spices. So that's going to be like my garlic, my cinnamon, things like that I use on a regular basis goes in one, and then the ones I grab less often go on the top in their own bin as well. I also think it's important to point out that I am a lazy girl at heart. I am, and I know that can be hard to believe when watching my videos on here, which is why I always try to remind you guys that this is just like a snippet of my life. But at heart, I am a lazy girl. I would much rather not do these type of things in my house. So I have tried and worked on ways to make this part of my life so much easier, because even though I don't love doing it and I would much rather do other things with my time, I know how important this is for my mental health. So one of the big things is I have become minimalist. I'm not a minimalist by any means. I will never be a minimalist. I actually see people that are minimalist and I feel like their houses are so boring and sad, but that's like my personal feeling. So I need stuff. But I do try and keep it down to a minimal as much as possible. If my cabinets aren't full, it doesn't bother me anymore. Honestly, if I had an empty cabinet, it wouldn't bother me, because it's like, you know what? I don't need to fill that space. And the less things you have, the easier it is to get things clean and organized. It takes less time, less effort. So that is a big reason I started decluttering, and I will keep decluttering. Because the other thing is, am I a huge shopper? No. Do I shop? Absolutely. So there's always things that need to be decluttered. But the other thing is our routines are always changing. So things that I needed a year ago, I may not need today. And I feel like that is another huge misconception when it comes to decluttering. Like, well, you declutter all the time. You obviously have a shopping problem. And that can very much not be true. It could just be that your needs and routines have changed. And especially when you have kids, like, what I need changes so much, like every 6 months or so, or sometimes more than that. So decluttering on a regular basis is so important. The other thing is, I also struggle sometimes with decluttering. And actually, just a quick example. So in the cabinet above the refrigerator, I'm going to do that here in a second, there's not much I keep up there because I cannot reach it without a ladder, but certain things that I don't use on a regular basis. So I had a blender up there. Usually I don't use that because if I need a blender, I just have my little blender bottles and that does sufficient, but there are times that I need it. I had a large, regular coffee pot, a Dutch oven, and some KitchenAid items that I got 10 years ago. It was a spiralizer and a cheese grater. But I never pull out the coffee pot. I saved it for when guests come over, if guests are here and I want to make a whole pot of coffee, it doesn't happen. But I was saving it as a just in case. The spiralizer, I don't spiralize zucchini. I just don't. I don't think I ever have. And the cheese grater. Cheese grater, now, it is great. But here's the thing. I am not going to pull out my huge, heavy KitchenAid just to grate cheese. And now that I have that hand crank cheese grater, I'm really never going to do it. So those are things that I have been holding on for years, that I have finally decided on this day that I'm like, okay, it's been 10 years. I have never opened these KitchenAid boxes, ever. I need to let them go. And then with the coffee pot, I'm like, we have never, since living in this house, had to make a full pot of coffee. People have come over and asked for a cup of coffee, and I've been able to make it in our espresso machine, but we've never needed a whole pot. And I finally let it go. And you're going to find that that happens a lot. You'll hold on to something for years and years and years. And then one day you're like, all right, I am finally ready. That makes sense. I'm just going to let it go.
You got a smile that makes the sun rise. You make it shine. But I can see that you don't realize. And that's what made me fall in love. 'Cause you got a style, the way your body makes my heart beat sound. It's amazing all the time. You are the only thing
So I ended up needing Bobby to help me with this because even with the step stool, and then I grabbed one of his like ladders, I still could not reach the back of this cabinet. Another reason I don't put a lot of stuff in this cabinet. So I asked him to come up here and clean it out. That way it was done. And you can see the only stuff I put back in here was my mixer and my Dutch oven. That is it. Like I said, I don't grab these on a regular basis, so they go up there. I try and keep that cabinet as minimal as possible. It's just, like I said, I'm short. There's not much I put up there because I don't want to have to be grabbing a ladder on a regular basis. But I was excited to finally be like, okay, all the uppers are done, and now I can start working on these lower cabinets. It always surprises me how dirty these cabinets get, though. I'm going to show you here in a second, and it's like, how do so many crumbs and stuff get in here? So I do always declutter a little bit as I'm organizing this out and put stuff back where it belongs. Like, I had one of, I showed you that vacuum because people always ask me about my little hand vacuum, so I figured I would show it to you guys. This is usually by my coffee station because it helps clean up coffee grounds when it gets everywhere, but I also use it for situations like this just because it's so much easier. But like I said, I had random things that just didn't belong in here. So one of the things I had was one of my icing knives. It's a knife, or like, it's not even a knife. It's like a skinny spatula that you use when you're decorating cakes. So that was in here. It doesn't belong in here. It belongs in the basket on the top shelf that I told you earlier has all of my baking goods in it. And then I also had like 2 black spoons in here that go specifically with my 3-pot slow cooker, or it is a slow cooker, but I usually use it for get-togethers when I need to keep things warm, and they specifically go with that set. So I was able to take things out, put them back where they belong, and then if there was little things that I knew I didn't need anymore, let them go. I have been trying slowly to downsize the amount of gadgets I have in my kitchen. I love cooking. I have gotten to where I really enjoy baking, so gadgets are hard for me to like let go of. But I do find often that I have certain gadgets and I'll still grab for the simple things to get it done. So if I need to chop something up, usually I'm just grabbing a knife and not some fancy chopper or things like that. So I just trying to go through, get everything the way I want it. Now, okay, so that flat like scrapey thing that you saw me put in, I do usually just use that for cakes, but I will say the reason I keep it down here at all times is if I really have something stuck onto a pan, like a sheet pan that I have cooked on, that is what I grab to clean it off and scrape it off. So that is why that stays down here. Normally that would also be something that should go in my baking bin, but I have found that makes my life so much easier. But talking about things that I'm letting go. So one of the things I'm letting go is this little resealable chip clip bag thing. I bought it. I thought it'd be really cool that the kids would use it. We would use it. And we did for about a month. And then no one used it anymore. Everyone grabbed for just the chip clips, not that. And so I'm like, okay, gonna let it go. It is not working into our routine, our like normal, and that is totally okay. So if you have something that you're like, this is gonna make life so much easier, and it does not function for you, the thing works. There's nothing wrong with it. Definitely does what it's supposed to do. But for our family, it does not fit in. People don't grab it. It doesn't get used. So it just made sense to take it out of there. It's one less thing. It may not make a massive difference like right now, but if you do stuff like this on a regular basis, that's what helps maintain and slowly lessen the amount of work you have to do in your house.
I am not the victim of this love affair. You can make me
Once again, another drawer that is just filthy, and I'm like, how is it so dirty when clean things are supposed to be the things going in here? So this is, like I said, why I was doing this deep clean and declutter. Take everything out, give everything a good cleaning like this. This also just makes the whole house feel so much fresher and cleaner when you get in here and do something like this. I don't do it all the time, like I said. Actually taking stuff out and wiping things completely down every single cabinet in my house probably happens, let's say, once to twice a year, because I will like pick random areas of my kitchen throughout the year to do, like, I'll decide to just do the junk drawer and the silverware drawer, or just do like my spice cabinet. But actually to do the whole kitchen and just give the whole kitchen a reset, that only happens about once a year. This was good though, because I was able to get in here and wipe everything down, take out things that I knew I wasn't using. This cabinet, a lot of the stuff I do use. So this was definitely a cabinet where I'm like, I don't know how much I'm actually going to get rid of because I do use it. And some of this stuff I may not use like regularly, but like springform pans, those are things that I'm not using them on a regular basis, but when I need one, I need one. So like this year, making the kids ice cream cakes, I'm going to use a springform pan. If I'm going to make a cheesecake, I need that. So just going through, pretty much keeping everything. But I did get rid of one of my cooling racks for cookies because it had snapped. It was broken, which I didn't realize till taking everything out. And then one of my bread pans, because there was one bread pan that I just don't grab for. And rarely am I making 3 loaves of bread at a time. Normally it's just the 2. So I was like, okay, I can let go of those. But like I said, just these little things, I got rid of 2 things out of this cabinet, but it also got reorganized. It got cleaned. It makes a huge difference. And it actually felt like there was so much more room in that cabinet because I just took those couple minutes to go through everything. Now, at this point, I was done. I was over all of this. So I'm like, all right, I got to start dinner soon anyway. Just tidy everything up, put everything away, and then be done for the day. Like I said, I knew this was not going to be a one-day project. However, I did get a lot more done on this day than I had originally anticipated getting done. So I was very, very proud of myself. And that is why I always tell you guys it's about progress, not perfection. Because no, I didn't get everything done today. This kitchen is not perfect, but the progress that was made is amazing. And even if it takes me a week to get to the next part of it, which I'm hoping it doesn't, like I said, I really want to get the rest of this done pretty quickly. But you never know. Life happens. People get sick. You just never know. And I'm someone that I just never know. But once again, do little at a time. I don't tackle taking everything out of every single cabinet. And it made this a very reasonable, easy way to do it. And if you are doing it and you're like, wow, you still got so much done, take it at your own pace. Like, you do not need to do as much as I did. If you can just tackle one cabinet or one drawer a day. Think if you just said, okay, I'm just going to do one cabinet, one drawer. How many days would it take you to go through your kitchen? Is it a month? Is it a week? Those little steps, it's kind of like losing weight. Like, oh, it's only a pound. It's only a pound. It seems so insignificant in the moment. But a week later, a month later, it feels so good when it has all added up in the end. So never take how much or as little as you can do as a reason to not do something, because every little step forward is still a step forward. And if you are consistent with that, even if you are a lazy girl like me, those little steps add up. And that is how I'm able to maintain a clean house even while being a lazy girl at heart. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, comment. If you are new here, I would love if you would subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We have a nice 9-day break for Thanksgiving with the kids, so it is going to be hectic in this house, but I will see you next time. Bye. Did you know the most searched phrase on YouTube is how to? Now, there are many variations of that and different questions being asked, but that is what everyone comes to YouTube for, is often to figure out how to do something. Well, today I want to talk to you guys about how to maintain a clean house, because it is the biggest question asked of me pretty much daily, of how to keep a clean house, especially with kids and pets. And I want to go through everything, not just a 10 steps to maintaining a clean home, but let's talk about the steps. Let's talk about the mindset and practical ways you can actually get you and your family there as well.
There's nothing wrong with that. Trippy, yeah, we all lose track. I wouldn't mind it if I find it.
Now, I know there are certain things that you will hear in every single video. You'll hear it from me and you'll hear it from others, but I want to talk about the things that don't often get talked about when it comes to maintaining a clean house. Because yes, there are things that are going to make life so much easier. Having a routine that works for you. This doesn't mean it has to be the fly lady or whatever. There's 1,000,001 routines out there, but just something that works specifically for you. Those are things that help. But what I really want to help you out is, one, let's talk about the difference between having a clean house, having a tidy house, and ways to actually make it so much easier. Because I promise you, you come to my house on a random weekday, my house probably is not tidy. I try. I do. But there is only so much you can keep up with. So I have learned, if I focus on one, the first thing I had to focus on when I started this journey to be more clean and organized was getting rid of stuff. And it took me years to get down to a manageable position, but decluttering is so important. It's important for your kids, it's important for you, it's important for everyone, because I personally believe that kids should have responsibilities in the house. You'll see today that I am cleaning up the kids' room, which I do about once every 2 to 4 weeks. I go in there and do a good, thorough cleaning. Now, the girls' room I do more often because Athena is a hot mess and she is always destroying stuff. But when it comes to the boys' room, about every 2 to 4 weeks. It kind of depends on if I think it needs it and how busy life is at the moment. But when I go in there, I do a good reset. I will make their beds. I will tidy up. But most days, it is completely their responsibility to keep their rooms clean and organized. So I expect their room to look like what you see today. Now, is it 100% perfect? Everything's put away? No. I don't get on the kids about making their beds every day. The biggest things I get on them about is not leaving a bunch of trash and dirty clothes in their room on their floor. But I have also put in systems to make it easier. So, yes, I don't want you leaving trash around. So here's a trash can. Take it out twice a week. But here's a system to make it easier for you. I don't want them having dirty clothes left in their room, just stinking up and being on the floor and everything. So each of the boys have their own laundry basket. I always tell you that it's so important to work with yourself and not against yourself. Make the routines easy for you. Same goes for your kids. Make it easy for them. If you know, if I could put a dishwasher inside their bedrooms, I would put a dishwasher inside their bedrooms, because I feel like that is the one thing that I struggle with them is dirty dishes. I have to ask them every single day if they have dirty dishes in their room or not, because that is something that I don't want left around between the bugs and the stink of it all. But working with their tendencies, knowing that, okay, if they didn't have a dirty basket, I can guarantee those dirty clothes would end up under the bed. If they didn't have a garbage can in their room, I can guarantee their dresser and floor would have garbage on it. These are ways to, one, let's bring down the amount of nagging, because I would be nagging if I walked into their room and there was garbage and dirty clothes everywhere. So I'm going to work with them to make it as easy as possible. Like I said, it's really important to give your kids routines, but we got to work with them as well and make it simpler on them. That not only is going to save your mental state of not having to fight with your kids, but also theirs. I know in the summer compared to winter, our chores for our kids look very, very different. I do not stress nearly as much about getting certain chores done during the week on school weeks as it is on the weekend or in the summer. But I have also implemented these things at a very, very young age. So it's just kind of expected at this point, and I love that, because the last thing I want to do is nag them. I think right now my biggest nag for when it comes to my children is taking a shower. We are in that phase where certain children don't want to shower. I never understood that. I know I went through that as a kid, but man, as an adult, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I just wanna be forever young. Yeah, I just wanna be forever young. I'm off the ground, no one can stop me now. Yeah, I just wanna be forever young. The other night, I remember what it felt like to be young.
All right, so that is going to be my biggest tip when it comes to children. Now, mind you, this may be harder if your kids are older because we have to rewire things, but trust me, old dogs can learn new tricks. We just have to stay consistent and, like I said, work with them, not against them. Work with what makes it easier for them. But that is huge, because it makes it, when I go in their room to do this reset, I am just focusing mainly on cleaning. Just cleaning. Nothing too crazy, and it makes life so much easier. All right, now the next thing we are going to talk about is, if you are here because you are looking at your house, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling anxious, and you just don't know what to do or where to start. But first, I do want to take a quick second and thank the sponsor of today's video. I want to take a second to thank GetJoy for sponsoring today's video. GetJoy is awesome in making sure that our pups get all their nutrition needs. I know, like us, you want real, clean food for your dog. And that's GetJoy's freeze-dried raw. I absolutely love that's 100% USDA sourced meat. So it's no fake, no fillers, actual ingredients that you can pronounce. With Bailey especially, I have noticed more energy. Both the dogs have a shinier coat, and they just have a little bit more of a spark to them. And with Belly Biotic in every bite, they're getting their prebiotic, their probiotic, and their postbiotic for a healthy gut. In the ingredients, the dogs are getting organ meat for healthier joints and muscle, pumpkin for their digestion, and even salmon oil for skin and joints. And it's all freeze-dried to lock in the nutrition. Fuel your dog's wellness and everyday's moments of joys with GetJoy's free dry raw dog food. Check out my link in the description box below for 50% off your first subscription order. Plus, receive a free scoop and a free bag of treats, because joy starts within. So you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed out, you look at your house, you're just paralyzed, don't know where to start, don't know what to do, and that's why you're looking up how-to videos here on social media. So first, if we are just starting out, we need to start with decluttering. Now, this does not have to be the whole KonMari declutter. We don't need to Swedish death clean our house. Let's start simple because you're already feeling overwhelmed. You're already feeling stressed out and paralyzed. So the first thing I really want you to do is to grab a garbage bag and walk around your house and just pick up the garbage. There are so many people that right now would be like, that's not really decluttering or anything like that. But let me tell you, if you are removing something from your home, you are decluttering. You are decluttering. So if you are just walking around and getting rid of all the trash, that is a big step. And it's one of those tasks that is like a domino effect. We start that. We start seeing progress, and it'll motivate us to keep going. After you have done that, pick another thing that's easy to declutter. When I am helping families around my community with my Helping Hand series, I always tell them, I'm like, let's start with the obvious yeses, not the things that we are going to hold in our hand and think about and hem and haw about. Just that you look at it and you're like, yeah, get rid of it. So that is what I want you to do next. I want you to grab a box, pick a drawer, pick a closet, and just do the obvious yeses and then move to the next area. Don't even worry about the thinking about it stuff. Just go through it, get rid of the obvious stuff, the stuff that that can go, and move on to the next area. By tackling just trash today and just the obvious declutter items today, you are going to instantly see a huge difference in your home. And over time, you can start picking one room at a time, one little area at a time, and going deeper when it comes to decluttering. But we have to start somewhere. And I have found that those are one way to start your decluttering, because decluttering is definitely one of those things that gets easier over time and takes practice. So starting easy and then working up that decluttering muscle will make it easier and easier as you go. And then the next thing is we are going to focus on having a cleaning routine. But I am not talking a deep cleaning routine because that can be so overwhelming. I'm talking just like a regular day-to-day cleaning and tidying routine. I find that often the most exhausting part of cleaning isn't the deep cleaning, isn't the stuff that you see me doing right now of making sure the baseboards are vacuumed, the furniture is moved and mopped underneath. Like, yes, don't get me wrong, on this day it was tiring, but this is not something that has to be done all the time. I do this about once a month. It may be done once every couple of months. It kind of depends on how things are going and moving along. And it's pretty easy because we've done other things first to make this a much easier task. You can see I don't have a lot of tidying up to do. I'm purely just moving things, vacuuming it, dusting it. But that all starts with the first foundational piece of having that simple daily routine figured out. And now things like that are going to consist of the mundane, like obnoxious stuff. Cleaning your dishes. That is something you need to do every single day. And yes, none of us like doing it. Washing laundry, at least staying on top of it. So I will say, I am not someone that washes laundry every single day. We have the baskets in the house. I do it a lot of days a week, but it is not every single day. I am not a one load a day keeps the piles away type of person. I wait till there is a pile and then I clean the laundry. So I will do laundry when needed throughout the house. But when it comes to laundry, I have implemented, I don't do everyone's laundry in my house. I do my laundry, the girls' laundry because of their age, and I clean Bobby's clothes. And that is purely because we use the same dirty basket in our room, and I am not a sorter. Let me know in the comments below. Do you sort your clothes or do you just throw it all in? Because I just throw everything in. The only time I don't throw everything in is if I get something new that is red. It gets washed the first couple of times on its own. But after that, I wash everything on cold in the washing machine together. I do not sort. So those are the 4 people I clean for. Like I said, boys do their own laundry. They wash it, they dry it, they put it away. They have been doing that now for 2 years. I think consistently about 2 years that I have had them doing their own laundry. Now, when it does come to the girls, Bobby, and my laundry, like I said, I wash all of our laundry. Bobby puts away his clothes. I actually have never put away his clothes. It has always been one of those things. I will wash it. I will dry it. I even will put it in its own basket. That way he can easily get to his stuff and put it away. But I do not put it away. He puts it away. So he folds what he wants folds. He hangs what he wants hangs. And I will do my stuff. I will do towels. And then usually him and I work together when it comes to the girls' clothes. I do it a lot of the time, but not all the time. If he's not busy, he puts away the girls' clothes. If I'm not busy, I put away the girls' clothes. I also realized that was a long talk about laundry, but I know at least when it comes to my house, it is one of the least enjoyable chores. So I like to talk about the way I have done it that makes it less overwhelming for me. But when going back into daily things, so we want to make sure our laundry that we don't have like piles and piles of loads to do, because that's going to overwhelm you. It's going to stress you out, and you may get to the washing and drying, but I can almost guarantee you are going to have bins of clean clothes that have not been put away. So try and stay on top of the laundry, that when it needs to get done, we do it, and we do it to the fullest as much as possible. I say as much as possible because trust me, I have definitely spent a day doing laundry and then waited till the next day to put it away. So don't beat yourself up if you do the same, because I am the same way. Dishes, do not leave dishes out. Let's make sure that even if we don't run the dishwasher right away, because let's say it's not full, we are at least keeping dirty dishes out of the sink as much as possible. Now, I will say I am not a nighttime cleaner. I know some people love to do a nightly reset, and I do highly recommend it. If you are someone that is a night owl and you have the energy to do a quick clean and tidy of your home every single night, 110%, I recommend doing that, because oh my goodness, it feels so good to wake up in the morning to a house that is just clean, tidy, and organized. I am not that person. Just going to be 110% honest and transparent with you guys. After dinner, I am exhausted. I pass out. I do the majority of my stuff in the morning while the kids are at school. So between let's say 8 to 9 a.m., it's usually closer to 9. Between 9 and 2 is when I get most of my cleaning and tidying of the day done. After I get home from school with the kids, there's usually homework to do, after school activities to take care of, making dinner, and after dinner, I'm just ready for bed. I want to sit in our room and watch a TV show, go outside and sit in our hot tub just to relax, or just go to sleep. I am definitely someone that is not a reset person, but I will say on those days that I do have the energy and motivation to get it done, it does feel amazing. So if you are a night owl, I highly, highly recommend taking the evening to do a reset. It makes a massive difference. All that being said, I do often wake up and have dishes that I have to do in the morning, but I still make sure that those dishes are done every single day. And If I can run the dishwasher at night, I run it at night and then handle the big stuff in the morning.
What about this self-confident girl? Guess you really need to be with her.
All right, so we have tackled decluttering so that our daily tasks are easier. So the reason we are doing this in this order is really just to make the whole cleaning process easier. If you declutter first, there is less to maintain. That is why I always say declutter as much as possible, because the less stuff you have, the less stuff you have to maintain, which makes maintaining a clean house so much easier. So we've started decluttering to make maintaining easier. We've worked on a routine to keep up on the basic cleanliness of our home and not feeling overwhelmed by any one individual task. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the difference between clean and tidy. Now, like I said earlier, you may come into my house on a random weekday and my house may not be perfectly tidy. Just the other day, or I say just the other day, this is every single day. I had a basket full of Athena toys everywhere, and then she decided that those toys were not good enough. So she also took out all of the dog toys. I'm sure you guys can relate that I have come out of the bedroom to my entire water bottle spilled everywhere. There's like just certain things that your house may not always be tidy, because if you've got pets or if you've got kids, there's just always messes happening. But I do try and focus on always having a clean house. So I maintain my daily cleaning routine to keep up with the basics. I've decluttered as much as I feel is necessary, and I am still always decluttering. I am constantly getting rid of stuff as needed. But then the next thing I really focus on is just making sure the house is clean. That way, if someone comes over, I can spend usually less than 30 minutes to get the house tidy, and I am comfortable with them coming over, because the tidying portion never takes me too long. I can tidy up pretty quickly, especially if I do a family tidy session, which I do on a regular basis, especially on days that I'm feeling overwhelmed. I tell everyone in the house, I'm like, hey, can you give me 5 minutes? Everyone gives me 5 minutes, and usually we can get our entire house back in order if we all work together. I highly recommend that. If you got kids and whatnot and you're feeling overwhelmed, set a timer 5 minutes. Tell everyone they have to help, and it's purely a tidy session. It's purely like put the stuff that's on the dining room table where it belongs. If it belongs in your room, if it belongs in the garbage, like wherever it goes, deal with it. Same in the kitchen, the family room. We are just tidying up and putting everything away. That is a game changer on days that you just feel stressed out and overwhelmed, because I know I am someone that often feels stressed out and overwhelmed because of the state of my house. So implementing that is a huge win. And like I said, because I focus on the cleaning portions throughout the week, these projects that people may not think about, I'm able to do those 5-minute tidies and not feel overwhelmed if, let's say, my parents randomly say someone's in town and they're going to come over in an hour. I don't feel overwhelmed because I know I can do at most a 30-minute clean and have the house looking presentable. The often where we overwhelm ourselves is visually we get overwhelmed by clutter. Visually we get overwhelmed by the stuff on the floor, the toys, the things building up. But when it comes to actual time, those things don't take that long, especially if you stay on top of them. Now, I am a big believer of mess creates mess and clutter attracts clutter, which is why I tell you to still clean and tidy every single day, even though you know you're going to have to clean up that bin of toys again, and you know you're going to have to wash laundry again, and you know you're going to have to do more dishes. Do it every single day, because when you stop doing it, you're going to notice those messes getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because when we put it off and we leave it, those messes just attract more mess and more clutter in our homes. So we have to switch our mindset of thinking like, well, I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to have to do it again in 5 minutes. Yes, that is absolutely true. But if we don't do it now, and I'm not saying you have to clean that pile of toys 50 million times a day, but if you can at least do it once a day, just once a day, tackling whatever project, that alone will help maintain it in the long run. You're going to see here in a little bit, I go back into the girls' room, at least I'm pretty sure. And there's going to be toys all over the floor again, because I clean them at least once a day. Sometimes it's like 5 times a day. It kind of depends on my mood and how much I actually want to do. But at least once a day I go in and clean. But I can guarantee it only stays clean while the baby is napping. The second that baby wakes up, it is a disaster again, and it is just expected. But I know if I don't do it, over time, that mess is just going to grow and grow and grow. And not only is that not good for my mental health, it's also not good for the kids. It's not teaching them responsibility. And kids play and have so much more creativity in a clean and organized space with less things. Now, I will tell you, yes, my kids have a good amount of stuff. The boys, not too much. They've gotten to that age where they don't really care. And I taught them at a young age that how important decluttering is, so they're pros at it at this point. But my girls have a lot of toys. But I do know, I have learned over time, that cleaning and decluttering and playing all really do go hand in hand.
When there's nothing left to say, well, the good time is over, then I'll be on my way, but I'll come around swinging.
All right, so we have talked about responsibility when it comes to family members and helping out around the house. And I feel like that obviously is one of the biggest things, is making sure that everyone has a role in the household, but doing it in a way that no one's feeling overwhelmed and stressed out about it. We have talked about decluttering, because we know the less stuff we have, the easier it is to maintain a clean and organized space. And we have talked about the difference between clean and tidy, that those are two different tasks in a home. And just because you have a clean home doesn't mean you have a tidy home. And just because you have a tidy home doesn't mean you have a clean home. But this next one I feel like is so important, especially in today's age of social media, is recognizing that everything does not have to be Pinterest perfect all the time. I find when I talk with people and I'm helping out different women in the community with keeping their homes clean and tidy, often the biggest roadblock is that idea of having their home be perfect and feeling like if it's not perfect, why even bother? Or getting that feeling of just being paralyzed and not knowing even where to start. So I want you to throw that idea of a Pinterest perfect home out the window. Now, I am not giving you license to just not worry about your space, because I don't think that is the right thing either. But my biggest thing is I don't want you to feel stuck. Like, I can't do everything today, so why do anything at all? Those small steps throughout the day, even on days where you are crazy busy and you can't get it all done, at least making sure to run the dishwasher, quickly wipe down the counters. Those little steps add up over time. And I find that so many people will be like, well, I don't have time to clean the kitchen, so they do nothing. I don't have time to completely clean the bathroom, so they leave all the stuff on the bathroom counters. If you can get over that hurdle of your home having to be perfect, and just in the idea of I'm going to do what I can in the time I have, you're going to notice a massive difference. Because yes, there are some days where I can spend hours cleaning, and there are other days where I only have 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, or shoot, there may be days when I don't have time to get anything done. So I just try and focus on instead of putting something down, putting it away. All those little habits are going to make it easier in the long run and so much less stressful, and not have that anxiety of constantly having to keep up with the Joneses that we see on Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram and all of those different areas. So focus on what you can do in this time, and it will make your life so much easier.
I used to be kinda sane. I used to act kinda normal. I couldn't complain. Now it's never the same. I found myself picking pieces of mascara.
So here's a question now for you. When you are searching up a cleaning video, a how-to video, what are you searching for? What is on your mind that you want answered when it comes to keeping a clean house? What are those questions you have? I find that often if one of you are wondering a question, it's more than just you thinking about it. There's going to be other ones. And the one thing I love most about this community is how willing everyone is to help everyone else out. So I would love to see the questions so that I can hopefully answer them in future videos. But also, I would love for this to start some conversation in the comment section, where if you have questions, others can answer those questions or give you encouragement, helping in any way they see possible. I know nowadays it is so much harder to have that village that we all grew up hearing about. You know, it takes a village to run a household and raise babies. And nowadays that village is really hard to actually have. You may be like me, where you're just very socially awkward, which I know people always laugh at me. I'm here on the internet with thousands of friends. But in person, I am someone that if I am hanging out with people and I say something even slightly that I think might be weird, I will think about it for the next 5 business days, what I said. Or family being all over the country. It used to be growing up that people had family all within the same neighborhood, and nowadays people are spread out all over the country. So I love taking advantage of this beautiful thing we call social media. I know if you are new here, you may not know this, and I don't often talk about it, but I started YouTube, crazy enough, all the way back in 2018. And I started when Bobby got deployed overseas. At that time, I was a mom of 2. I had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I was about to be embarking in something that I never expected. Bobby, yes, was in the military for many, many years, but he was National Guard, so I was used to him being gone for a month at a time, him being gone for a couple weeks at a time. I knew he had been deployed in the past, but with his position, he had never been deployed in those years that we had been married. So it was the first time I was ever going to be doing it all by myself for over a year of him being gone in a completely different country and not knowing when I'd even be able to talk to him and hang out. So I started this whole journey here on YouTube to kind of have an outlet, because on top of that, I was a working mom outside of the house. I was working 40 to 60 hours a week outside the home. I was very lucky because at that time where my job was, I was able to take advantage of a family friend that did in-home daycare situation. But Xander was going into kindergarten, and we were going to have to obviously find someone to be able to watch the kids closer to home, as well as be able to do the pickup and drop off if I was going to maintain my job. And after looking at the cost of childcare and all the extra things that came with having our first child going into school, we made the decision that while Bobby was deployed, I was going to stay home. So my husband was going to be gone for over a year. I was giving up a job, and I have worked my entire life, pretty much since I was about 12 years old. I have been working, and I needed something, and that I came here to YouTube, and it's the biggest blessing in the world. One, I love that I can call this my job, but the biggest reason is I found a community of women that not only are so supportive and loving and kind, but I also found a community of like-minded people that I get to have the privilege to hang out with every single week. You guys, in so many ways, have become my friends. We chat over on Instagram. We chat here in the comments. And honestly, just sitting here doing these voiceovers and talking to you is one of my favorite parts of the week. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. And yeah, leave those comments in the comments below, because I feel like it is so important for us as housewives, stay-at-home moms, or just women in general to have a community we can come to. And our village may not be in person nowadays, but we can still find that village that encourages us and keeps us motivated, answers our questions, and is there when we need them. And I know each and every one of you are perfect for that. But I really, really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, like always, make sure you like this video. If you would share this video, that is a huge, huge help. Maybe save this into your watch laters. All of those little buttons underneath this video, when you click and use them, it's a massive help to my channel. So like, commenting, sharing, saving, all of those things are ways that you can support me and my family here on YouTube. So thank you guys every single week that does that for me. And if you did make it this far, let's drop this emoji down below. I love seeing who my true MVPs are and who watch my videos all the way till the end. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday and enjoy your weekend. We had Xander's fall concert yesterday, which was so much fun. And I think we're going to be going to a pumpkin farm tomorrow. So we got a lot of stuff planned. Family dinner on Sunday. And I hope you guys have a blessed and lovely weekend as well. I'll see you next time. Bye.
She was in love with a boy, in love with a girl, so in love with the world, so beautiful. She was in love with the light, the way the sun shines. All she needed was love to have to hold, and nobody could make her feel that.
Absolutely nothing feels better to me than starting out the new year fresh. I like to take my time when it comes to getting my house back in order. So today I am working on a couple rooms, but we're going to be doing the entire house room by room, deep cleaning it and redecorating it and just getting it feeling fresh. There's a lot of areas that don't get hit as often, and usually because there's so much stuff. So for me, this is the perfect time. Christmas is down. I don't have my regular decor up yet to really get into those areas that aren't often hit that desperately need a good cleaning. I will say though, this always gives me the urge to declutter because it's so much easier to clean when you have less things. For example, this is a girl's room and I get so much anxiety in their room all the time. Obviously with them being littler, they have a lot of toys and we downsize on a regular basis, but it doesn't matter. You've got two young girls at different enough ages that they have a bunch of different types of things and it can just get overwhelming. I was telling Bobby, it will be nice though when Athena is out of her crib. We usually transition the kids at about 18 months. So she's got a couple more months to go and that'll just free up so much space in here for them to play and everything. But she is definitely at the age where playing to her often just means making a massive mess, like just throwing stuff everywhere. This room has to be tidied up and cleaned probably 4 to 5 times a day. And often we go to bed and it's a mess again, and that's just real life. However, I do like to come in here and straighten up throughout the day because Freya prefers a clean and tidy room. I have to keep reminding her that her sister is learning. She is not at that point yet to really care about clean and tidy, but soon enough, she will appreciate it just like the rest of us. I knew though starting off in the girls' room was the best thing. I had to wash their bedding, and then once Athena went to bed, I was able to start working on this front entryway. You can see there is like some decor stuff that I left out during the holidays, but not too much. I also just recently got new family photos done, so before putting up those on the wall again, I wanted to get them in the frame. But things like this, often I will just do a quick wipe off of this entry table, but I don't actually go around and dust and clean the whole thing. And it gets so dirty. I don't even realize it till I do this, but the little legs and stuff collect dust and dog hair and everything. So getting in here and being able to really clean this off and move it and clean the baseboards just felt really good and really refreshing. I also like doing it this way because I don't overwhelm myself. I'm not telling myself I have to get the entire house spotless, deep cleaned, redecorated all in one day. I was literally just going room by room, and it's like, okay, whatever I have time to do, I will get done today, but I would rather stop and pick it up again tomorrow than feel rushed to get it all done and kind of do a half job, because I'm sure you guys all have done that where you're starting to get tired, so you just start throwing stuff together, you skip corners and don't really do as thorough of a job, and that is what I was trying to avoid. So one room at a time, get it done as good as I can, and then move on to the next one without feeling completely stressed out and overwhelmed.
You won't get away, no matter what you do. I won't have my way. I will make the rules. I'm just like a drug. Once you get a taste, you won't let me go. You remember me. I want you to call it. Wanna hear it at 3 in the morning. Your voice is my solace. Wanna hear
I often have people ask me how I can handle the heat in Florida. And I will say, I don't love extreme heat, but most of the year it is beautiful weather. Right now is like my favorite time of year. We're getting those like upper 60s to mid 70s. And for me, that's perfect. Open the windows, open the doors, let the fresh air in. I will even, as long as it is above 60 degrees, I will open my windows. I love fresh air. Plus, I was actually just telling someone the other day, they were asking what they can do in their house to like really help combat sicknesses and stuff right now. One of the biggest things you can do is let your house air out for at least 30 minutes a day, even when it's cold. It has been proven that our house can be 2 to 5 times dirtier air quality wise than the air outside. And it's just because it just gets stuck inside. And if you live in those northern climates, you understand. In the winter, we are not opening our windows and stuff. Like, you just leave everything shut. You're just trying to stay warm. But I do challenge you, if you can just open it up, like I said, for just a little bit every single day and let your house air out, it'll really help. We are the same down here in the summer. We do not open our windows. It's funny because seasons just kind of flopped for us. Stuff we did in Wisconsin or didn't do in Wisconsin in the winter is kind of the same as down here. In the summer, we don't open our doors and windows. It's too hot. It's too humid. Like, it's just not possible. And that's why this time of year is like my favorite, because we can really let everything just air out and breathe. I will say the one nice thing about down here is at least usually even in the summers at night, I can let the house air out. And even though it's still warm, it's not as bad as during the day. Now, I love doing a double mop, but I don't know about you. I never actually do it with my mop. By the time I get done with my first mopping, I'm just like not interested in dumping the water, changing the mop head, like doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. And that is why I always use my wet dry vacuum. One, it vacuums to make sure there's no dust and random dog hair and stuff on the floor, but it also does that initial mop for me. And then I go in with my mop and bucket, and I have noticed a huge difference when I do this. The floors just are so much cleaner. They look cleaner, they feel cleaner. And for me, that's really important, especially like Athena is walking now, but she still crawls a lot. And obviously we have Minnie, we have Bailey, so trying to stay on top of that. But yeah, this past week, we ended up going to the beach. If you follow us on our family vlog channel, you would have seen that. We go every year during winter break to get updated family photos. I love this, and I keep all the old photos in the frame because that way we can look back at years past. But it's just so much fun to see every single year how much each of the kids have changed and grown and everything. Like, the boys obviously have changed a lot, especially Xander. Xander is full-on teenager mode, which I love and hate sometimes. He is also officially 3 inches taller than me, which I think is not cool at all when your kids start getting taller than you. But, like, the girls have changed tremendously. Like, Athena wasn't really even sitting on her own last year when we took these photos. And this year she's walking and running around and doing all of this stuff. So I love getting these updated photos. We do drive a little bit further away to get them just because the beaches around our house are more touristy. And we know if we drive like 30 minutes away towards the Palm Coast Flagler area, they have some beautiful beaches, and the pictures we get every single year, I just absolutely love them.
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We live it like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight, that look in
It was funny, as I was doing this, Bobby and the kids were just like, oh, it feels so good to have the house back to normal. And it makes me giggle because I think of when Bobby and I first got together. I was still living with my parents and he had his own house, but it was still pretty new to him. He hadn't owned it for more than a year, and it was a total bachelor pad. Like, he had furniture from his parents, grandparents, yard sales, pretty much no decor in the house, like total bachelor pad. And once we got together and moved in together and everything, and I started like putting my touches on it, I can remember like not arguments, but the like little side eye, like, is this really necessary, that you get when it first starts. And now if I want to do something, he doesn't even question it because he knows it's going to turn out nice. And when I start putting like my touches back on the house, he's always like, oh, it just feels like home again. It feels so good. And it just makes me giggle thinking we've been together now going on, is it going to be, 16 years in July. It's 2026. I'm trying to think, and just how so much has changed over these 15 and a half years that we have been together. Now, I will say, though, with this cleaning and decorating and everything, I try and keep my cleaning supplies really simple because I'm trying to get as much done as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. So when it comes to my cleaning supplies, 90% of what I am using is a multi-purpose cleaner. Now, in the bathroom, I'm going to be using a little bit more. I want to make sure to use like a disinfectant and toilet bowl cleaner and stuff like that. Oh, also your reminder, clean out your lint tray. I try and do this every single time, but I will say I even sometimes forget. And since I'm not the only one in the family that does laundry, I do try and check like throughout, but sometimes the boys will have done their laundry and not emptied it. So there's your reminder. But yes, keeping it simple. I feel like simplicity when it comes to cleaning is your best friend to keep it quick and efficient. I have a microfiber rag that I just keep like a bin of clean ones in my hallway, and I can quickly and easily replace them as needed. But otherwise, I pretty much have 1 or 2 spray bottles, and I can go pretty much anywhere and get it clean. I also highly recommend when you take down your regular decor for holiday decor, try and keep as much of it in that room as possible. It makes redecorating so much easier. That way, if I am doing the bathroom, all of the bathroom decor items are in the bathroom underneath the sink. Same with our bedroom or the family room. I try and keep whatever I use in those rooms if possible.
Let's drink up. Your death look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on. Like that Marvin Gaye song. I'm stunning, you love it. Come on, give me something. I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should leave with me. The night is young and so are we, baby. The night is young, so let's have some fun. If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives. The sun sets on fire, tell me your desires. We're not getting tired, baby, take me.
I'm actually planning today to start decluttering, though. I feel like my cabinets in my dining room are busting at the seams and just getting overwhelming. Plus, they're just unorganized. Freya keeps her Play-Doh in there and her drawing stuff in there. And I really need to get in there and organize it out really well, clean it out really well, and redo that. But there's also other areas. Our bathrooms always gets unorganized, and I'm known for I love skincare. Skincare is one of my favorite things. I used to be like a super girly girl. Like when Bobby and I met, my hair was done every day, full face of makeup, always had on 4 to 5 inch heels like every single day. It's funny how motherhood changes you. Most of those heels I don't even own anymore because one thing they don't tell you about having kids is your feet grow. No one ever told me that. So pretty much all of those shoes don't fit me. So I've gotten rid of them over the years. And honestly, I just don't like the way I feel in a lot of makeup anymore. I still like some makeup, but I love skincare. Love skincare. If it's a skin oil or new cleanser or toner or whatever, that is my favorite stuff. But I am just like anyone else. Sometimes I'll buy a product and want to love it so much, and I just don't. And I hold on to it because, like, I spent the money on this. I should use it. So my bathroom is another area that I definitely have to go through and declutter it. And the kids' bathroom, I need to go in here and really organize it and everything for them. With the kids getting older and everything, the boys have their deodorants and their colognes and stuff. Freya has her hair stuff and body spray. She was really excited. She got a bunch of body spray of her own this year. She always steals mine. So it was like the perfect gift when we saw the little gift sets of the smaller bottles for her. And I really just want to organize these cabinets out better. Even though the girls are young enough that they use Bobby in my bathroom, it's still nice to have like their hair stuff, their toothbrushes like separate from the boys' stuff. Then the girls aren't getting into their stuff and they're not getting into the girls' stuff. And it usually just makes less of a mess. Also, yes, I am vacuuming my counters. I try and vacuum as much as possible. Once again, we have one very large dog that sheds a lot and one tiny dog that sheds a lot considering her size. So dog hair is just a way of life. People always ask me how I keep up with all the dog hair in the house. And the honest truth is you kind of have to come to the realization that you're just not going to. There's going to be dog hair around. Now, I have learned tricks. I have a Swiffer duster on the rod 24/7. That way I can just kind of go around and do like a quick 5-minute dust every single day. And it may not be super thorough, but it stays on top of it. And sometimes those little 5-minute tasks, instead of doing like a thorough task, is way more efficient and stays on top of it than saying, okay, once a week I dust and you're like super thorough with it. I prefer to do it more often, and it may not be as good of a job rather than the once of a week. That to me can be overwhelming. Now, I still get in here probably about once a week and do a thorough job, but it's never as bad because I do those quick little like 5-minute Swiffer duster every single day and then a robot vacuum. I could not keep up with the dog hair if I did not have a robot vacuum. I hear some people saying they vacuum like 3 times a day, and I couldn't. I do not have the time to be pulling out my vacuum 3 times a day to do it. Even with a robot vacuum, I still vacuum once a day. So it's kind of like it gets done twice a day. I will vacuum during the day, high traffic areas. And then at night, I try and remember to run the robot vacuum every single night to just kind of do everything. But the big reason I like that is it gets under the furniture. So those areas that we often don't do because we can't reach or we have to move stuff, I love that it gets under there. It gets under our beds, it gets under the couches and the tables and everything.
Some you know and some you don't. Don't blame me
I will say though, I am still obsessed with this bathroom. After we did that makeover, I have been much better at staying on top of keeping the kids' bathroom clean. Now, it is still their responsibility to do like the daily maintenance on it, but I would even slack at the weekly maintenance on it just because I didn't love the space. I am definitely one of those people that I do better at keeping up with my chores when I love the space. When a space is beautiful, I am more likely to keep up with it than if I don't love a space. And this bathroom, I'm still obsessed with. I love what we did to it. And you can see, yes, I am rinsing out this stuff in the bathtub. I know some people have don't love this. My thought is I would rather do this in the bathtub, let it completely dry, and then come back and disinfect it later. So that's usually what I do. Not usually. That is what I do. I will literally just let this sit in the bathroom, and then once it's all dry, I come back in with my Clorox, bleach, and Lysol, and that's when I do the deeper cleaning on that bathtub. It just is a lot easier, and realistically, if I had to take it outside and everything, this probably would get done once a year, because it's just the extra steps. Little things like that, when you make something harder than it has to be, at least for me personally, and I'm sure other people can relate, I end up doing it less often. So for me, spraying it all down with a disinfectant, I let it sit in there, and then I rinsed it off. And then just coming back later and spraying out the bathtub and shower with that disinfectant needed to be done anyway. That makes it where I stay on top of it a lot more, making sure that all of those things stay clean. And I feel like that's so important in a bathroom because we don't often realize how much our cleaning tools hold on to smell. So if you're ever wondering why does my bathroom stink? It could be those different cleaning tools. But Athena had woken up from one of her naps, so I decided that I would come in here, grab her, but then also make up these beds. And as you can see, just a couple hours later, all of those toys we cleaned up in the morning are back on the ground. So yeah, like I said, this is normal. Her room stayed clean for about 2.5 seconds. When I left the room this morning, by the time I had come back in, not 5 minutes later, she had pulled out all of the toys again. So that's just life with a toddler, I guess.
I want to know what it's like to drive down Sunset Boulevard with you. And I just want to take one more bite of everything and every avenue. Like cold drinks, summer.
So the last room I wanted to tackle on this day was the dog room. Now, this wasn't so much redecorating for me. It just needed thorough cleaning. This is where we keep all the pet food and pet supplies in this cabinet here, as well as it makes it real easy for the dogs to come in and out of the house because of the door. We have one of those magnetic nets, and I love that thing. Now, I don't love that, as you can see, the bottom, if the dog, mainly if Minnie comes in, she's so small that it doesn't have enough moving momentum to close again. But it does make it a lot nicer if the dogs come in and out of the house. We have a doggy door that gets them where they can go all the way into the backyard. But this room gets really dirty. The kids are constantly coming in and out of the pool area and the backyard. The dogs are constantly coming in and out. So this room desperately needed a good cleaning. And you're going to see here in a minute when I lift the sofa, because the sofa, if you drag it and move it, and it's not horribly heavy, all of the stuff that is underneath it, meaning dog hair, just kind of rolls on itself. And as you can see, there's a lot of dog hair in this room. Bailey spends pretty much all day in this room. This sofa is more like his bed than an actual sofa. So needless to say, the dog hair is intense in here. But because whenever I move the sofa to like clean behind it and around it and stuff, it just kind of rolls the dog hair. I call it my snakes under the sofa, and I need to do this at least once a month, and it makes a huge difference with the way this room smells. I am someone that is very, very self-conscious of my house not smelling like I have animals. I love animals. You guys know me. I want a homestead. I want pigs. I want chickens. I want mini cows. Like, I want it all. But I don't want my home to look like I live in a barn or smell like I live in a barn. So getting in here and doing this deep cleaning once in a while is really, really important to me. And getting all of that dog hair that just really smells like dog makes a massive difference.
Yeah, this place just makes you, kinda makes you want to. Yeah, it makes you want to. It kinda makes you wanna.
I got no money, like it or not, I'm funny. Still in searching of my destination. I like to party, living my way is arty. All I offer is my reputation. Hey, let's walk this way. This party will rock every minute stolen. If you wanna be my midnight mover, you blow my mind, and it would be kind of a groovy story. If you wanna be my midnight mover.
And just like in the rest of the house, as you can see, I'm using the wet dry vacuum and then bringing in my mop to do another cleaning on it. Also, I don't often show this, and I often get questions about this, but one reason I love my O-Cedar spin mop is I have somewhere between 6 and 12 different heads for it. I would have to count. I don't know how many, but I have a lot of them. And I have a lot of them because I like using my mop on so many things. I will clean my walls. I will clean my floors. I will clean my kitchen cabinets, like showers, so many things with my spin mop. But as the mop head gets dirty, obviously you want to switch it. So even just going from the front entry to the bathroom to out here, I don't like to cross-contaminate. So I will take the mop head off, switch out the water, and replace it. But here you can see, those are my snakes. I told you there's a lot of dog hair underneath this sofa. But yeah, I switch out my mop heads on a regular basis. I switch out my mop water on a regular basis. That way, dust and dirt from one area isn't going to the next. Like, I don't want to be cleaning my bathroom and around my toilet and then coming out and cleaning the kitchen or the dog room or something like that. So I love having a mop that I can throw the mop heads just into the washing machine, but I can replace them super easily. That way when I go from one room to the next, it's not a big headache. It's super easy to clean each area. Bailey, though, lately has also loved having his kennel out here. I don't love having his kennel out here because it's just a lot harder to clean around, and I honestly just don't like the way it looks. But for him, it's like his safe space. If he wants to be left alone, he will go into his kennel. And we have always taught the kids, like, the kennel is the dog space. Like, if they're on the couch and you want to snuggle them, no big deal. If they're on the floor and you want to snuggle them, no big deal. But if they go in their kennel, you don't touch them. You don't talk to them. You leave them alone. Like, that is their home. That is their space. And that's why we often just leave this out here. He doesn't use it every day. He sometimes will go weeks without using it. But you can definitely tell there's times that he just likes going into his kennel and getting away, especially with smaller kids. Bailey is definitely a dog that realizes his size, so he gets very nervous around little kids. And I think it's because he's nervous he'll hurt them. Not on purpose, not being mean, but just purely because of his size. He gets very skittish. Like, Freya just now is at an age where he isn't skittish with her anymore. Like, 5 is like that sweet spot, but when she was younger than 5, he did not want her anywhere around him. he was just like, nope. If she came in the room and got near him, he would walk away. And like I said, I think the big thing is he's afraid of accidentally hurting one of the kids because he is such a massive dog. Last we checked, and mind you, he does not get checked on a regular basis, but last we checked, he was like 180 something pounds. He obviously can only get checked when he's at the vet. And I feel like he's bigger than that. Like, he has buffed up. You know how dogs will get like tall and long first, and then usually when they hit that like 3 to 5 years old, they start actually filling out. He's definitely filled out a lot since his last vet appointment. So I think he's hit that age where he's truly at his full size when it comes to weight.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever?
So another question I get asked all the time is what I put in my wet dry vacuums. Like, do I add soap or anything? I have learned you have to be very careful with what you put in your wet dry vacuum. If you use anything that is overly sudsy, it doesn't work. It like messes with the computer system and it'll say it's full when it's not full. So I usually will only use what is sold for wet dry vacuums. That way it's the right consistency for it. But one thing I love doing is after I clean the dirty water basin and the little foam filter, I will always put a couple drops of essential oil on it. I love doing that. It makes your whole house smell amazing. And I am definitely someone that, like, for me, a house obviously looking clean is really, really good, but I also want my house to smell clean. Like, if I am cleaning, I want you to be able to smell that I have been cleaning all day and not just visually see it. So a couple drops of essential oils, but realistically, you can just use water in here. If I'm doing a deep cleaning, I'm getting my mop and bucket out. I'm not just using this, but this is amazing for maintenance. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had cereal drop on the floor and I just grab this and clean it up. Or the dogs have an accident. I can just grab this and clean it. Like, it's so versatile. And if you have kids and pets, there's 1,000,001 reasons that this works so, so well.
Moment, can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking?
I do want to take this time, though, and thank each and every one of you that stick around every single week till the end of my videos. I appreciate you guys so, so much. You guys mean the world to me, and I love being able to chit-chat with you guys in the comments and everything. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you did make it all the way to the end, drop me this emoji down below. We haven't done this in a while, and I always love seeing who made it to the end. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, but I will see you in the next one. Bye.